because I don't care about the background noise. Welcome to a Vision tier list, and we are sadly here to say that the footage got corrupted.
Still here.
Yeah, we're sadly holding on and posting videos, but yeah, the footage of our conversation of the equipment got corrupted.
You might notice some background noise.
Yeah, because I live in a
Fuck you.
But yeah, the original video, which I will play the 6 minutes of the beginning, which isn't even the beginning of the video because we pissed around for about 5. It had me, Tom, James, and obviously Harry. And we kind of all mediated and then came up with decisions, which you can see now, because honestly, the last video was like an hour and a half, and it was pretty good, and I'm so sad we lost it. But we're not recording another one of at least that length.
No, sir.
And it will be just us like rehashing the same opinions that we came up with by the end of the video. And
obviously, not an ideal situation, but it is fortunate that we know what to say.
Yeah, but then so
it's not even that we know where this is going to go. We already got where it's going to go.
Yeah,
right
and
there.
so I kind of just left it like that, like, because I didn't really want to like just kind of like pretend that we don't already know how it's going to end. So I kind of want to just have the final product here, and then us kind of explain why we did it, like me and Harry still, but without the other two being here to kind of fill up this space. Because, well, yeah,
we could do it anyway, but
yeah, I mean we can say what they kind of said. But this is a bit of a botched video, admittedly, and it's sad because it was pretty good, but you'll have a snippet at the end.
Unlike everything else we've done.
Yeah, but we're very professional. But
so I suppose the main part really that needs to be explained is how we defined the tiers.
Yeah, which we did
and we
pretty
do that
late
right in the beginning now.
Yeah, we did it pretty late in the recording when we actually realised what S, A, B meant to us. We didn't put anything lower than C and D because it's not right.
No.
But
so A is probably the best one to start with, actually, to be honest, because A we decided was like basically the thing is perfect for class. Basically, it's perfectly made. It's just as good as it should be, essentially.
Yeah, it is strong. It is it makes sense for the character. It fits. It's just very good. No real negatives can be put against.
Well, it's as close to
these
perfection
things
as you can get.
Yeah, and I guess to say what S could be then, if that is A, S it goes beyond what you would expect from. Well, not maybe expect, but like you would hope for, like from an item. Like it does more than you would need it to do, or should expect it to do, or for a character. And then B being there is a desire for improvement there to be had. It is lacking in some regard, either just like a couple little tweaks to make it more fulfilling or like useful to use, or maybe a change to it itself or removal thereof.
Doesn't mean it's not suited to its class in some way, because I think the drills are perfectly suited to their class, but they go beyond that in terms of function.
Yeah, and I think the flares.
For example, the flare gun is perfectly suited for scout thematically.
Yeah,
but it's sort of lackluster.
Yeah, its usefulness is not at the same
level.
Maybe
we should start with that though.
Yeah,
I think right to left, going from the bottom.
I mean, first, is Satchel charge.
Right to left. I've got the flares.
Right to left. All right, yeah. All right, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Flares. If they really were like, we can't. The flares are good at what they do, and they fit Scout well, but what they do isn't that needed. I think it's really what it came down to.
It's not essential.
Harry was the main advocate of putting the flares quite down, below, until we came up with this format, which makes sense.
But it was because everyone just kept saying that they're nice, which is the part that I agreed with. But that's all they are. They're just very nice. They make everything nicer. They don't technically make things easier, in my opinion. But it is still nice. If it wasn't actually a noticeable difference, they'd probably be lower. but you notice when flares are around and you appreciate them. But
Yeah, and they fit in with
they're not
Scout as a
objectively
character.
they're not, in my opinion, they're not objectively beneficial, and they are definitely not essential
Yeah.
to be able to get things done.
So that's
And
kind of what left it in B. So we're not sure what you would, because B is really kind of needs a bit of touching up, and I know what I do for the zipline, but for the flares, maybe just some form of other usefulness. Like what I imagine most people would kind of end up doing if these had overclocks, right? Maybe that would just be added on, like like maybe pinging enemies or items or stuff like that.
sonar, yeah, just highlighting everything that in its radius.
Yeah, or like just some form of like fear, stun, heat, kind of just anything a bit extra would be appreciated for the flare gun. But I think it's fine as it is, but it could do with a bit more.
Which we'll get to, because we're going to do traversal to overclocks, or support to overclocks.
I'm not fond of the idea, but I'm fond of making up ideas. So
well, what I'll say about that is that I'm going to do it anyway.
yeah, but yeah.
So what I'm saying is we are going to make those videos, Tyler.
Yeah,
Even if you don't contribute.
All right, and it'd be
It could
more
just be me
enjoyable
pitching
for
ideas.
me if I contribute. But I'm just putting it on the record.
Alright.
I'm not fond of support tools.
I'm putting on
overclocks.
record, so you have to do it. Anyway,
Alright. The
same grenades. What's next?
zipline.
Zipline.
Now
Zipline, not sure.
zipline, I'm a pro zipline hate team. I hate the zipline and
And I'm
everything
a
it
Zipline
represents.
Pro.
Yeah, and Harry likes everything it represents, and like we established that it is supposed to be bad, right? It is supposed to be a
and I don't disagree
lackluster
with this.
mobility, but I think that it is worse than it needs to be at the same time.
I agree, because my argument was the reason why it's good at all is because it is all purpose. But technically, well, actually, what I've realised now is the point I was making, that it is awkward, but it can do everything. It's still awkward, but it's also more convenient in most ways. But that's by design, because it's designed to be able to get everything done within
just, like,
with a small amount of
straightforward.
ammo being used, because it has a small amount of ammo, so it can do what it does with just using one ammo. It can do a lot of things. It just doesn't feel good to use.
Yeah,
it represents Gunner's slowness.
Yeah,
And his lack of mission capability.
It fits his character well, and while it's awkward, it's designed to be so, because if he had a strong mobility, he'd be unparalleled in the game.
Oh god, yeah.
But
oh god.
But I did
Gunner with the grappling hook scares me as an idea.
Yeah, but like I did kind of whittle down two things I think they should fix. And I'm calling it a fix. One I think is a fix. The other one is just a slight buff.
It's a good idea.
But first one is, you know how if you're like using a zipline, you can't grab things without jumping off the zipline and jumping back on. That needs to be fixed. You should just be able to grab things while on the flight. That's it. Just I assume it's because I think grabbing things isn't that jumping off. Isn't that the same button? Or I'm not sure.
I think it's just because pressing it forces you off. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they just need to do something to make that not the case. And the other one is a bit more, I wouldn't say extreme, but an actual change would be if you were to shoot a vein of nitro and then mine it at the end of like the zipline. Normally, you're left with your the tip of your zipline being floating in the air, and then you have to try and like make a hole in the wall to jump into. With what I would change is that from then, if you were to mine where the zipline like protrudes into, it pushes forward and then sticks into the continuing bit of thing, which I think kind of makes sense considering it comes from the pylon, right? The pylon shoots out and it will just continue pushing forward until it like can't any longer, and that's your range. So
it could be an upgrade. It's like drill tipped zip lines or something.
I'm not fond
where
of
it just uses the full length of it no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm not fond of that upgrades as a whole. But I do think this should be a change that I make, because that will make it like, while still being inherently awkward, it just reduces that unnecessary awkwardness to it that it currently has. The kind of just byproduct of them not really caring, to be honest, like just oversights. But yeah, I think that will kind of wrap it up, and that would probably make it A for me. As much as it's still by far the most awkward for everything, and it's still kind of bad and annoying compared to the other options, it would fit, and it makes sense, and so it would get put in A. But for now, B. And that's kind of what we come to.
Ching chong, ching chong chong.
And then the final B, which was actually the first bit of the video, and for the snippet of the old video, is actually we get the beginning of Satchel Charge before it, like, I black screened and it stopped recording secretly, which wasn't very pleasant of it. Was the
Yes.
Satchel Charge. Now, for anyone that has seen some of the old videos, and it's actually one of the more popular ones of my my Driller's grenade problem video, I'm not fond of the Satchel.
I've seen it.
And I think
I'm not either.
That sentiment is shared with basically everyone, except Tom. Tom was a firm defender of the Satchel Charge throughout. But
Yes,
he
because
really
he can understand the point. That they have no value.
Yeah,
they are strong. They are useful, but they are still redundant.
Well, the thing is, we kind of whittled into his own words in that he just calls it another grenade, which is completely true. It is just another bigger, better grenade. But in what universe is that a valuable tool to have? Like, just make it a grenade, or like, I don't know, like, just have something else be more useful.
What put it in B really is what I said, is that it's the least valuable part of Driller's arsenal.
Yeah.
Which is just true. It's just objectively true.
Yeah.
It doesn't provide a sole function. Well, it does provide a sole function, but
it doesn't do anything new either.
That's actually, yeah, exactly. It only does one thing, and it's not new.
Yeah, and it's not bad, right? We're not saying it's bad at what it does. We're just saying it doesn't need. We don't really need what it does as a driller.
Exactly. Yeah.
We put it in B, and unlike the other two where they could just do slight changes, I really do think they need to just put something else. They need to put something else there. Satchel charges should replace HEs because HEs are bad and they always will be. And they do essentially the same thing. And then literally just put, like, because this is also something to bear in mind. The shield generator that you see in S was the replacement for the Satchel charge for Gunner. So imagine, if you may, that Driller gets a replacement for the Satchel charge of the same upgrade that was a shield generator, and how, I mean, if anything, that might be too strong, considering then he would have 2 S tiers, but just something better than the Satchel charge is really all we're asking for at least more useful, I think is probably the better term for it.
The hell is that?
I think it was just someone whistling.
Sound like someone screaming and whistling.
Place is full of savages. But yeah, those are B.
You are not excluded.
These were the lackluster kind of tools, equipment.
They're tools.
Yeah.
Tool.
They were the ones that we all generally agreed were the worst. Like,
yeah.
Tom defended satchels, Harry defended ziplines, Harry hated the flare guns. He's probably the main reason it's down there.
Hello.
But yeah. Now for A, which
Hello.
A is what it is because of the change we made in definition. Because all 3 of those were in S.
Yeah.
Right? So there was like an overwhelming majority of things in S, and we realised that we need, but it didn't sit right. So we changed.
No, it wasn't even just a visual thing. We could feel there was something wrong with having all of these things in the same tier.
Because it did not feel.
So we mixed it up.
But yeah, these are things that, by all means, are amazing at what they do. They do exactly what you want them to. They work perfectly well with the characters. There is no issues. I can't literally. My one issue, and this got a lot of heat, was with the platform gun. Is that you have to clamber like most of the time.
Which I sort of downplay by it's not technically how they work.
Yeah, but to be most efficient,
the most effective way to use them.
And then Tom gave me a lot of shit saying that I was terrible and it's on me, not on the gun. Point is, I think
you were both a bit off with that.
Yeah, but like the point is that there is no real discredit to any of these things. Unlike B, these are basically flawless. But also, They aren't
not overpowered.
exceptional.
That's the point.
They're not. I mean, they're good at what they do.
Let's
definitely,
go through them
but-
one by one. So
Yeah.
sentry guns, perfect. First of all, perfect engineer from an identity perspective.
Yeah.
There was no way engineer wasn't going to have sentries though. But also, what do we have? We have good build variety. First of all,
Oh yeah.
very good, but probably the best actually.
Yeah, I do think so.
Pairs well with the weapons. It pairs with the weapons,
Which is
but
only really
some of the weapons make them stronger. It fits well in like engineer as a class. It helps
Yeah.
with crowd control, but it's not crowd clearer.
Yeah.
You know, it can be used to stun and kill the odd enemy. Very good against swarmers. And materials, I think. Good. Well, also good in every situation,
Yeah.
specifically.
As long as you put them down, they will help you out.
Yep.
But
Good emphasis on the play style of good positioning. Like I always, my turrets are almost always on platforms. So
Yeah.
there you go. They go hand in hand. Really.
moving on, I guess, because there's not much to be said. These are just perfectly good and fine at what they do. Like, and especially
Because like I would say I feel the need sometimes. Oh, I wish the sentries had more ammo, but they can have more ammo because I always take build speed.
yeah, I
but
mean,
could
not
have more
having
ammo.
build
It's like,
speed is
there's
pretty
a choice
rough.
there. There's a real choice there though.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I often pick ammo because I want more ammo, so I have to reload them there, so I have more to reload them with. But honestly, I have died quite a few times building my turrets because it takes a while. If you without the build speed upgrades, you really do spend a lot of time just looking away from the enemy's building.
You can't build them during a swarm without
No.
quick build, and you can do it with quick build though. That's the thing.
Yeah, which is probably the opposite of how we should be doing them, considering I forget about turrets and then I'll just remember and try
I do
building
both.
them in the middle of a
I
fight.
don't forget about them, but
Yeah.
when I have to move them, if I've left them behind somewhere, I can move forward. Anyway, so yeah, there they go. Sentry guns. Grappling hook. Oh boy.
I mean,
We
your
might
order
get
is
heat for
completely
this.
different to mine, but sure, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. We'll do the grappling hook because the order doesn't matter. But yes,
Sorry.
the grappling hook was the final thing in the overclock that caused the reshuffle because I could not, in good faith, and I'm not 100% sure why. I kind of am. Did not want it on S. It's like the same as like drills and the shield and stuff, and even the sentries and the platform gun there.
Yeah.
It just, like, I understand that it is exceptional at what it does, but it does not do that much. Like, it doesn't go above and beyond what it is. It is just very good at taking you from A to B
You are right.
and
I mean,
doing
I
that.
kind of think it does, but it's balanced out by being on scout.
Yeah,
It goes above what it should be only because it has infinite ammo.
yeah. It's like the same thing as like Gunner's mobility being terrible is fair because his weapons are amazing. Where Scout's mobility being amazing or exceptional is fair because his weapons aren't that. They're not terrible, I guess. But you know they're not anything amazing either. Like output wise,
He just has like 6 engineered primaries.
pretty much. Yeah, and so like while it's like exceptional at what it does, thanks to the kind of balancing that is his mobility to weapons balance,
And it is balanced because it can't be used in every situation. You can't. It's not actually a get out of jail free card. necessarily.
I'm aware. I die very
It's
often.
not going to get
because,
you know. It's not going to get you away from all the things that are shooting at you.
And you might kill
sometimes
yourself
you can't
often.
even. Sometimes you can't even find close enough terrain that's suitable to grapple to.
Yeah,
Like you don't want to just grapple into a wall because you're just going to fall back down into the mess. And sometimes you can't always grapple away from the horde that's surrounding you. It's not a get out of jail free card. It's just extremely useful at getting you around, getting you away from things. Yes, very useful in fights, like more condensed fights, like actually against bosses. Just getting around, doing the mission very quickly, like supporting like Scout's role as the medic as well.
yeah.
It is obviously very selfish, but its usefulness, I think, sort of downplays that.
He is
A good scout, it will directly increase his survivability, which indirectly increases the team's survivability, and directly increase the team's survivability by reviving them very effectively.
yeah.
So
Scout
a good
is
scout will
selfish.
turn it into not selfish.
Scout is selfish, like how in some like shooters, a player will be like so kill hungry, like that he doesn't complete the objective, but he's so good at it that you win because everyone's dead because he's killed everyone. He's just that good. Scout is so inherently selfish, but he can do so much in his selfishness that it just helps everyone.
Yeah, you know, he can take care of like the entire mission. You want.
Yeah.
Everyone else can focus on combat.
I mean, more often than not, he does the secondaries. You know what I mean? Like he
does the secondaries more often than not. Does the primaries too?
No, yeah.
The primary objective, and keeps people alive. It's sort of his job to just stay alive and
keep the mission going.
Scout to me doesn't. In general, the scout class. How often do they actually have grappling hooks? Is that really a common thing? I don't know. Obviously, Tier 2 scout doesn't, but
I mean,
but it's very essential to his identity in Deep Rock.
Yeah.
And it's sort of created his identity in Deep Rock more than a flare gun, which actually suits a scout more.
But and as much as we say all these things, I still wouldn't. I couldn't put it in S. Like, because
no, that's because it doesn't go above what you would.
Yeah.
Well, what we've come to expect from the grappling hook.
Yeah, it's not like it like if you hit something, it will like
it does exactly what it should,
or like you. It is a just get out of jail free card all the time. It is balanced and really good.
Yeah, despite having infinite ammo, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, which is I do think that like I can't believe that like you know it has infinite ammo and isn't the most broken thing in the game, which is kind of weird. I think there's a plane flying over.
I heard it.
Yeah, you probably
I heard
hear
it out
louder.
like. No, I heard it like in the real world.
Oh damn! That says how close we are. Although I'm not sure when you heard it. Probably more like 5 minutes ago.
No, like a minute ago.
All right, going quicker.
Bloody hell, that's making a lot of noise.
Let's stop talking about it and move on to I guess the platform gun now.
The platform gun.
I bet it does rub some people the wrong way that the platform gun is at the same level as the grappling hook. In the
yeah,
like
but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean the platform gun once again fits perfectly with engineer. Just
well, see, that's the thing though. It doesn't, but it forced its way to be. That's what I think is so good about it. It's so well designed that it's become engineer's identity as much as the sentry guns.
Yeah,
because the sentries are what you would expect.
They're a stereotype.
But the platform gun is not a slouch. It's like with Gunner, well, neither of his tools really represent him very well, in my opinion.
Gunners is the guns.
Well, no, none of them are obvious. Like his tools aren't as obvious. But the Zipline is designed to sort of fall behind and not really be a part of his identity, really. This is what I expected. I expected the platform gun and the sentries to be in the same tier, whatever tier that was, because Engineer is the most balanced character. Every part of his arsenal makes him.
Yeah.
There's no single part of him that isn't important, and that applies to these two as well. Both of these define him, which is why I think they're so well designed. And the platform gun is just fantastic. It just does so much. It's incredibly helpful to everyone. It pairs amazingly with Scout. It pairs amazingly with his own equipment, and it helps everyone out. Can prevent full damage, and that helps everyone, of course, and it pairs well with his weapons and his grenades if you use it right. It's just the best thing ever. It's just great.
Yeah.
It's also the anti-drills, but also that's the point. This is why I think it belongs here, and why it belongs below the drills specifically. In that, if you take away what makes the drills S tier, it would be they'd be exactly the same in terms of value because they're just opposites.
Yeah.
But that's why the platform gun belongs in this tier, because it's exactly what it should be. I don't actually have a single criticism of it.
Although you've got to admit that as far as what it should be, it's pretty vague, because normally with like basically everything so far, you kind of know what to expect. Like sentries, shoot things. But platform guns are fairly unique as far as games are concerned. Not often is there like platform creating characters in stuff. I think there are a couple, but I can't think of any to hand currently. But yeah, it's still it is very good at what it does. But once again, it doesn't inherently go beyond that. Not to the level of the S classes, S tiers. The
S-class heroes.
Yeah. Which one did you start with?
Tank top master. Shield.
Yeah. All right. You can do the shield, and then I'll do the
So
drills.
the shield, is pretty cool. So the shield's in a weird spot actually, where I don't think these two are in S tier for the same exact reason.
No.
The shield is in S tier because it's just that strong, but it goes beyond what you'd expect from Gunner's support tool, but not what you'd expect from itself. It is by its nature broken.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does go beyond what you'd expect because by its name is Shield Generator. So to me, that could just be an item that strengthens everyone's shields. It doesn't have to be a dome. Yeah, it does that. So it doesn't actually have to have the dome that just blocks everything, but it does. So it does kind of go beyond what it could be, and well, not what it should be, because it's exactly what it should be, and it fits Gunner perfectly. But it's just strong enough to be an S, because it's just that strong. It is objectively a broken mechanic.
Yeah.
But obviously you have a limited amount, which doesn't balance it out, in my opinion. It's still just incredible. And it can be used for so many different things, just for protecting, reviving your teammates, just helping you stand your ground, which is what suits Gunner. But it can still use it.
I think Harry's controller might have died. I hope that's the case at least.
What?
No, he muted himself.
What's that? What's going on?
Finish off shield.
I don't know. I don't know how to. I just think they're in S because they're just strong enough to be there.
Yeah,
they're just stronger than everything else.
It is like as it's just, I don't know. It really is. It's like you are in danger. Throw shield.
You are no longer in danger.
Yeah, safe. And I know you could kind of make the argument for like the grappling hook, but even then, even if you grapple away, you're not safe inherently. But with the shield, you are completely protected to virtually all types of damage. Your shield is buffed, and now you can do whatever you want in that amount of time.
Amazing for repairing things, like the hacking pod or taking resupplies. So just a whole bunch of stuff.
As much
ensuring victory on salvage ops.
Yeah, as much as we shouldn't compare putting them together as like a stat, having a bunch of gunners with a bunch of shields does make stuff trivial.
Broken.
Yeah.
Broken.
Yeah, it is absolutely
completely trivializes salvage ops. 100%.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that can come close to that, if we were to mention it, is sentries. Having an ungodly amount of sentries is not only fun, but against like a dreadnought is pretty violating. Just a constant, no matter where they are, if you have them like spread around the cave, they're just getting shot. But yeah, it is actually kind of game breaking how strong the shield is and can be used. Obviously, it's not inherently, but yeah, it's also not that hard to use well.
No, exactly. It's just so ease of use.
Grappling hook.
Yeah, unlike the grappling hook, and I'd argue engineer stuff too.
Yeah,
Gunner is the simplest character.
Most straightforward.
I think the shield is the shield is so straightforward and so powerful. It's so powerful in such a straightforward way because the drills aren't complex, but they do have a lot going on still. The shield is just one thing really, and it's one broken thing.
Yeah, and it's enough to put it in S tier. Which is kind of just like he is in S tier, defying the definition arguably because of just how broken and strong it is. The drills,
the drills are really where the definition came from.
Yeah, because realistically, basically, they're about as strong as the platform gun and grappling hook. Right? They are very
as a traversal tool.
But
even then, as a way of not because of cheesing extraction.
As a way of getting around, being able to drill is like about as good as platforming. A bit slower than grappling hook of like getting up to stuff or getting down to stuff or getting places. But then it kind of comes into a world of its own when you can like basically traverse caves at a time by like digging straight to the drop pod or straight to down people in like that ran off like an idiot, stuff like that,
or crane bunkers.
You could just ignore terrain generation with the drills, which I think puts it like immediately kind of
the drills are A tier.
Easily. But what brings it up to S?
Well, no, hold on, because there's the other half of it, which was like the class identity thing.
Yeah.
The drills are S tier in that category as well, because not only do they
driller.
define driller,
Yeah.
they are driller, but they're also iconic, in my opinion,
Yeah.
for the game. They're the only really iconic piece of equipment. Like, grappling hooks aren't iconic to Deep Rock,
No.
but I think the driller's drills are. Every piece of art, apart from like the recent stuff where he's using his new weapons, the driller's using his drills.
Yeah, because I
they
think
are
it's
driller.
the kind of, it is the most Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, and they're the only piece of equipment that 100% defines a character, apart from Gunner's weapons. You know?
But even then, that's like spread across, right? Obviously, the minigun does identify him, but like still, they kind of carried that over with the other ones. But literally, the driller is the driller because of his drills. If you took away the drills, he would just be like a pyromaniac and or demolitionist. Like it really is like.
Well, he would have been a demolitionist because that was like the prototype. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then they came up with the Godsend drill hands in design, I imagine, and then that was it. The rest is history. But that in of itself.
Well, actually, it started as a mech.
Put it on like petering. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like petering, like obviously technically A, but like, you know, still feeling kind of good about it. And then the killing potential. The fact that you can murk just about everything with a mobility tool just brought it in S. It really did. And like, even if like, because as I mentioned this in the video, but like the flare gun can kill, right? That didn't bring it up any higher up. The fact is that the drills can and will kill.
Can and will. Incredible amount of ammo, even when you take the damage mod, which you should. Incredible amount of ammo. Ammo efficiency.
Yeah.
Combos well with
Cryo Driller.
Amazing.
Cryo Driller Vampire.
The cryo cannon.
The immortality build.
Stuns, fears, breaks armor. These things are nuts.
Yeah. The drills are like just as good as the other moves, like platform, grappling hook, mobility, and then they just go and become like a secondary weapon, if that. I mean, I don't think they're as much as a primary due to like ammo or whatever, but like I think a secondary weapon is fair. They basically become. So the fact that they're both of those, and it's just so amazing to be able to do both. You can drill up to an area and then kill a bunch of fuckers with the same weapon, and just like, you know, don't even bat an eye. And it just makes it S. It just makes it above the other mobility. And that's kind of what we came to terms with by the end of the hour and a half. So we managed.
Well, we got the best support tool and the best traversal tool. I don't think there's really any argument.
Was a nice coincidence, to be honest. I don't know.
It was deliberate on my part.
All right.
I knew what I was doing.
But yeah, I mean, really, if you look at it, then maybe, in our opinion, the utility could do with a bit of a touch-up, as in there's 2 in B. Meanwhile, mobility is pretty even. But even then, admittedly, the Zipline could be an A, but I really do think it just comes down to those annoyances that are unnecessary.
In my opinion, it's split in a fairly deliberate way. That it's more closely linked to Deep Rock itself, rather than what you would expect from, say, the Scout or Engineer. But it's sort of split so that half of the classes are defined by the support tool, and half of them are defined by the traversal tool. Because in the context, without context, Scout, you would imagine flares suit him more. But in the context of Deep Rock, he's defined by the grappling hook. Driller is defined by the drills. Engineer is defined by the turrets, although I think it's an argument to be for both. And Gunner is more defined by the shield generator than the zip lines. So in my opinion, it's a fairly deliberate split.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
obviously Driller is not defined by the Satchel at all.
No.
You know.
They don't feel wrong inherently. Like, especially with the, as mentioned, demolitionist elements to Driller, right? That is ever present, and mainly because of the satchels. Because really, otherwise, he doesn't really explode much.
Well, actually, I've got a better way of putting it. A better way of putting it that proves once again why the drills are in S on that thematic level as well. In that, when you take what defines each class, you don't take it on an equipment, like just singular piece of equipment basis. It's like gunner is defined by his weapons, scout is defined by his mobility, engineer is defined by his entire arsenal working in unison, driller is defined by drills.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, and it kind of just resulted in what you're seeing at now. And I guess if there's anything to take away from this, screw the satchel charge. that's kind of what my message to be in like always.
That's just what you're trying. That's just the message you're trying to send.
Honestly,
to the world.
If I have an agenda for having this YouTube channel, it is that. It is that I legitimately dislike the satchel charge being in the utility spot. I do not dislike the satchel charges. I just don't think they belong there. I'm not being like racist or anything. But, like,
What do you mean? Why would you say that?
I like satchel charges, but they shouldn't be in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like,
ooh, damn. God damn.
But no, yeah, I don't know. I think they should just, as the agenda again, replace HEs. HEs are satchel charges, but worse. And then...
Do you know what's kind of funny?
Cool.
There's a lot of equipment that's actually missing. The first one, the obvious one, is the obvious ones, the ones that are actually on the tier list, that we didn't include, which was flares and pickaxes, which we're not going to talk about now in that sense.
We did do it
but they were
in the
on
previous
the tier
video,
list.
but...
And we put flares in C, and we put a pickaxe in
We
D.
could put pickaxes
Pickaxe
everywhere.
was the weirdest one. Yeah, exactly.
It could fall in every single one.
But there's still other stuff, like, in the Season 1 patch notes, the hacking device had its own section. It's like new equipment. The hacking device is because it's a part of the dwarves' arsenal. Every dwarf has one.
Yeah.
Same goes for the repair kits though as well, which I think would be distributed across the hammer and the stuff that you use to repair the pipes and Doretta. I think it's under the same thing really.
It's basically just unlocks the ability to do things. Is what they technically put it under, like equipment.
But the only thing that stops them from being shown in the equipment terminal is that the only thing that stops the flares and the pickaxe from being the same is that the flares have recharge and the pickaxe has upgrades. If they weren't, they probably wouldn't be shown in the terminal.
I think it's also age. They've been around for about ever.
Yeah, that's actually that's true. But there's other bits of your arsenal that you don't really think about that you do have. Yeah. Like your terrain scanner and your laser pointer as well.
Yeah, that would be something. I don't know, because flares are kind of dumb that they take up an entire spot of themselves. But if they had this is not a choice thing, but there were multiple slides of it, which you could then interact with. So it would be the flares, the terrain scanner, I don't know, that kind of stuff.
Laser pointer, yeah.
Well, that's oh no, the terrain scanner's the map. Yeah, those things, and you could maybe upgrade those in the I don't know how. I don't think it needs to be, but if they do want to kind of lead into this a bit more, then actually add upgrades to these things.
Pickaxe overclocks. Battle cry is a thing when you salute. It buffs your teammates or something. Just that concept.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, if anything, I do not, and I think I might have mentioned this video, I mentioned it last week. I'm not sure when I mentioned it. Actually, I think it was this one. I do not support overclocks for the mobility and utility and all that bollocks. I would support pickaxe overclocks, admittedly, because you can customize the pickaxe more than you can customize these ones.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the point of the traversal support ones was, I kind of want to do it almost as a challenge.
Well, I don't think it's
where you
that
have to retain the identity of of the equipment. You can't, because that was the reason they're not doing it, is because it's changing what they are, having there being too much variety. Because those things are so defined, and overclocks to change that. I wanted to do it without changing that, but still adding interesting mechanics.
Which is why this is also a more radical way of doing this, but I think it's so radical that it works, is that I don't want new classes. I don't want overclocks for movement or traversal. I just want new ones. If each character...
which is another reason why we could do them in the overclock workshop. It's just sort of under that pretense of, but at the same time, that'll be more suited to a video where we actually suggest new traversal support tools.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do the overclocks. So.
All right.
Grenades, well, that will come after season 3 because
There'll be the new ones, or
to
maybe
work
even
with.
already overclocks. Yeah.
What? Do you actually think that's going to happen?
Once again, if ever,
Do you think it will go beyond just adding new grenades?
if they are ever gonna do it, it would be now. They're gonna add new grenades and grenade upgrades and/or overclocks. They'll do it now. They just get it
my
all
opinion,
over and done with.
The reason I think overclock suits them more is because it already suits pickaxe more. The pickaxe basically shouldn't have upgrades. It should just have overclocks.
Having a pathetic
single
amount of
upgrade-
upgrades do look
A
quite sad.
yeah, exactly. But a single thing that just changes it is, in my opinion, more appropriate for something like a grenade.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see them. That just allows more creativity. I don't want to see boring upgrades on the grenades. I want to see overclocks, which is why I'm going to do that. But we'll save that for after season 3 because we'll have more to work with.
Yeah. Till then, we're finishing off the guns. Still, which will take.
Then
us
we'll do
until then.
something.
We'll
do something else with the guns as well. We'll do the final pitches.
Yeah, our actual I don't know. I think I'm not sure how it works, but in the Reddit there's like a dev response one, and I think that might summon them. So to speak.
Well, no. People misunderstand that. The dev response flare on the Deep Rock subreddit is meant for if a dev responds to your post, you put that flare on it.
Right.
It's not really meant to be you calling them out. I think it should be though, because I don't know who came up with that, but it should be like you are. Like,
Well, you put the
not calling them out.
You put the flare
like,
on
you
when
know,
you make the post. So how?
getting their attention.
I
You can
assume
put it on afterwards. You can edit it.
All right.
But no, but it should be for trying to get the dev's attention. So
Yeah, but I feel like that.
I don't know where
everyone
that. I
will
don't
do
know
it.
where that's written down. So maybe it's not really true. I just heard it somewhere. But that's what it's actually meant for. But I disagree with that. It should just be to get the dev's attention because that's fine. They're on the Reddit. It should.
Yeah.
It's things you think they should look out for. No.
But yeah, I think any more, and
Haven't
we'll
seen
be
the devs in a
wasting
while.
both of our times. So thank you
Summer
all
holidays.
for watching.
Yes.
This was a redo. All I'm doing this after we'll play the beginning of the video, which it will not have much, so you don't have to watch it, but it carries, I guess, the vibe that the video is going to be
We
on.
did also talk about the 100 subscriber special. We still don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I think if you're watching this far, then you're one of our couple dedicated viewers, which I love you guys. And if you
Super.
want to leave or spin, you want to leave some recommendations, not recommendations, but suggestions
Or
for what
will
we
to
could
kill.
do. For
He came back. I played with him yesterday.
Ah.
He just showed up. So I was like, yo. I said friend him. I don't want to do that though. That's social interaction. I don't support it. What? 100 subscriber special?
Yeah.
Leave suggestions if you want to.
because currently we're kind of
take 'em.
struggling to decide and agree on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything, not like dick reveals or anything like that. We'll probably
What?
won't do that.
No. That's exactly what we should do.
No, we've got to save that for 1,000, Terry. I mean,
Oh, damn it. Good point.
we don't want to burst our nut too early, which will also be in the dick reveal.
What the fuck? What?
Point is, thank you for watching. There will be the. It's not even. I mean, it is the intro, but the waste of time that happens before the intros when there's too many of us there playing after this. So, thank you.
I just started the tutorial. You can you can see the cutscene again.
There's a
Not
cutscene.
really a cutscene. No, it's just it's basically just a different loading screen.
Right. Well, Rock and Stone.
But I do have my equipment.
Harry, say goodbye.
Rock and Stone.
Good job.
There's a motorbike.
There's always a motorbike, and if I close the window, my room will die. I'm already sweating.
We'll die.
I have the window open, the door open. There's not much
I'm
more
just
I
gonna
can
ride
do.
over to Margate quickly to rev my engine really loudly after the punch out.
You're gonna join into the daily tradition of 5 fuckers. But welcome
Oh, 5
to.
Have you started recording?
Yeah, there we go.
Five fuckers. It's a new restaurant.
It's like where Five Guys used to be, but they're just like worse people.
Just the absolute, like, bane.
They all
Five
spit on your food.
humans.
The service is terrible.
Some people would like to have them spit in their food. Actually, not really men. A lot of things are really just one way. Like, I've not seen... Like, because you see a lot of posts of guys having foot fetishes, right? But I've never heard of a girl having one.
Women don't have fetishes, they just break hearts.
They just eat hot chip and light.
Why they do, but they keep it to themselves.
Those
Yeah,
bitches.
They're not as vocal as men are.
Yeah,
Fucking clue why.
Men are awful.
Yeah,
But women are,
pretty
bad.
but women are
Awful.
women are worse though because they don't say things.
Women bury
Yeah,
their shit. They're like actively just as
Bury their
bad,
shit
but they do
because
it like
they're
on the
dogs.
down low.
Because-
Like, you know, I mean, I think it's not actually that much of a stereotype to say that women really do just bitch talk about their friends behind their backs like all the time, right? That is just a thing.
This is the sexist video.
This might get cut. That's what this is.
This is probably going to get cut, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of shit.
It depends
Oh, I know.
how true what I said is, and I don't know. So, James, you know women. Do they chat shit about each other behind each other's back?
Women
Yes.
are malicious.
Yeah.
Just
They're
yes.
all like mean and
As a
spiteful.
certified woman, yes,
As an honorary woman, James, that's what you are.
absolutely. The closest thing to a woman we have here, let's be honest.
Although Tom does like it in the ass.
When I got Happy John's yesterday, I forgot that I wasn't supposed to be. Well, I accidentally ordered it to collect,
Oh, you're a dickhead.
so we had to drive to Papa John's.
Oh, the woe.
I didn't see. I didn't see Lennon, but he was there. I heard someone say his name.
Well, yeah, he just
Also,
worked there.
also the Asda delivery is here. I'm just gonna shut my window.
Basically, we're
Right, let's
not
go.
getting anything done.
Alright, let's... I'm not going to restart the recording because that fucks with OBS enough to restart it, but I will just cut that. But welcome to... I was about to say, just the Barrow Vision.
The 100 subscriber special.
Welcome to the future.
It's calling it a bit
stock
early.
Trading.
We probably will do a 100 subscriber special.
Well, we
which-
need to figure out what that is.
But yeah, because it's going to be like, I don't know, something unique and or a bigger, better version of something we already do. And I'm not sure what either of those things would be.
Bigger, better version of.
For now, we're 2
go to
subscribers
China,
away,
start
so things as usual. And today we are going to be doing a utility and mobility tier list. Depending on how long the video is, it might be split into 2 parts. But those 2 parts are not going to be weeks apart. It'll be like once today, once tomorrow. So fear not, I guess.
You won't have to wait.
Yeah,
I
to
know
hear
you'll
our
be
wrong
itching.
opinions. And as you may have gathered, we have our guests,
Both.
Me?
Harry's
Chisel
mum.
rat.
We have Tom, who was in the podcast. He's
Tom
in
and
quite a few
James
of
and
the
the
podcasts
Chiseled Rat
recently.
stock trading channel.
Stop pushing that agenda. It's not going to happen here. And yeah, James, who it graces us with
I'm
his
just
appearance.
Who I prefer.
Occasionally.
And it's just because there isn't much to this tier list, although you maybe see a lot of stuff. Really, we're just doing the first like 8 things 4 at a time.
Can we
So
put the flares in as well?
sure,
Just the flares.
we'll put the flares
put
in
them
it in D.
Flare tier. No, S tier. Flares are great. And pickaxe. Should we do the pickaxe as
What the
well?
Sure, but we'll
Shut
do them after. Those would be the special edition stuff.
100
I think
subscriber
you're getting a bit
tier
ahead of
list.
yourself.
100
I
subscriber
don't know.
video, it's
Pickaxe
just
and
pickaxe and flares.
Yeah.
Let me just put them in pickaxe and flares here.
It's like a
Yeah.
30-second video.
Yeah.
The
Pickaxe
intro's
is a
longer than the
pickaxe.
fucking video.
Alright, let's
So
get to it.
the first one is gonna it's an order, but it's not a real one. But first one, Satchel.
Oh, the satchel.
And for the sake of order, I think we should just get what each of us think where we think it should be. S,
At one
A,
time.
B, C, D. Don't really think we need more tiers than that. Like, it's almost as many tiers as we got things we're going to put in them. But yeah, I'm going to go first because I'm talking. I think it is
D.
B. James, I hate you so much. I think they're B because they're just fine. I don't think they're Satchel charges. I think they are like they do their jobs, but I don't think their jobs is needed or particularly, on the same level as some of the other stuff. Harry's next because he's the co-owner, and then you peasants can go after.
C, because average isn't really the right word. Average would put them in B, but I think C because they are powerful but kind of redundant. To be honest.